Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a zodiac reading for the sign of Scorpio, and today we are doing a twin flame reading. Keep in mind that these zodiac twin flame readings have been very long and in-depth, and they won't resonate with every Scorpio out there. So if it's not resonating, be sure to check your other placements if you feel called Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And keep in mind, if you're cross-watching, that sometimes I see that when people come to my readings to cross-watch, they actually resonate with the viewer pile. But you may resonate with the viewer pile, you may resonate with this pile, because energy is fluid. So take the pile that resonates. So this is supposed to be the viewer, this is supposed to be your counterpart, and then this is the outcome. So Scorpio, let's get into it. We're going to start with your energy. So for you, we have the birds. We're starting out with the birds, and this is earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And we have the number 12 here, which is symbolic of hanged man energy. So I feel like there could be a separation here between you and your person, or a need to wait or surrender. So it could be that you're waiting to hear from this person. I find it interesting that these two birds are fighting, because sometimes the birds card can talk about communication. So for some of you, it's very possible that recently you communicated with this person, or you tried to communicate with this person in the past, but maybe it just caused conflict. Maybe there was an argument. From what I'm seeing in your person's pile, they could have push the communication away. They could even, maybe they even have you blocked, or you reached out to them and they didn't respond, is what I was hearing. But it also feels like there's other things going on with you with the birds. And I'll just grab the book to read it to you. So the birds, which is on page 26, which reduces to 8, which is the energy of strength. Your confidence could be being tested right now, especially if you reached out to this person and they kind of pushed you away, or they're blocking communication, not responding. So it also talks about daily concerns, about everyday troubles, communication with no results. So that's why I was kind of saying, like, maybe you tried to communicate with this person, but it just caused an argument, or maybe you went to reach out to them and realized you were blocked, or they just never responded. It's about communication with no noticeable results. You could also be having other concerns in your life when it comes to work, everyday troubles. There could be short trips, visits, meetings, dates, presentations, interviews, public speaking, web conference, shopping, bill payments, housework, childcare. This card foretells of a lot of hustle and bustle, phone calls, internet communication, dealing with everyday trifles which tire heavily, cause worry, excitement in thoughts, feelings, actions, can cause confusion, nervousness, irritability. The feeling that you've done a lot but haven't achieved the results. So it does feel like right now you're not seeing results from what you're putting your energy into. You could be not seeing results of trying to resolve something with your counterpart. Maybe you're not seeing results of all the healing you've been doing. And there is this energy where you could be like hoping to hear from this person, but they haven't reached out to you. And it does say worries and anxieties surrounding this card are temporary. So whatever's happening here is temporary. So I feel like this separation or this blockage is temporary, but it's hard not to, worry about it when it's happening. You could also be anxious that there's a third party involved, just because there are 3 birds on this card. Let's keep going. We have all tied up, I feel stuck. So it feels like, maybe you've said everything you can say, but you feel stuck. Like there's nothing else you can do. Maybe you did say something to this person in the past and you were hoping they would answer you or give you clarity or closure. Maybe you tried everything you could to communicate with them, but it feels like right now you're stuck. And this is also Eight of Swords energy, so you could feel like your hands are tied when it comes to this connection and this journey. Like there's nothing that you can do to make this communication come. You could also be feeling stuck in other areas of your life, like that bird card talked about. You could also be struggling with limiting beliefs with the Eight of Swords. There could be some trauma here that's keeping you stuck. So trauma that can be healed. But maybe, you haven't healed it yet. Eight of Swords on traditional tarot shows someone who feels like they're stuck, but in reality, they're not stuck. They could escape those Eight of Swords. So you could be very much in your head about this right now, or struggling with self-limiting beliefs about other things than just this person. You could also be struggling with self-limiting beliefs about other things. Feeling very stuck, very stagnant. For a lot of you, I'm hearing you've been waiting for communication from this person, but there hasn't been any. Especially if this person has you blocked, it would make it very hard for you to be able to communicate with them, even if you wanted to. We have waiting, hoping to hear from you. So there is this energy where you're hoping that you're going to hear from this person. And like I said, maybe for some of you, you reached out in the past and said something that you thought would kind of resonate with them, or you thought they'd respond to you. You could also be feeling very called to check your phone. Because maybe intuitively you feel like communication is coming, but it hasn't come yet. So clearly this person is heavily on your mind, and this is actually making sense with the bird card being 12, which is Hanged Man energy, which is an energy of a pause. Maybe you're drinking a yummy latte. We have father wounds. So there could be something within this connection that's activated father wounds, or ripped open some father wounds for you. This person maybe even behaved like your father or a parental figure. So one example that always comes to mind is if this person was inconsistent or emotionally distant, it could be that you had a father that was inconsistent or emotionally distant. Clearly within this connection, it's triggering parental wounds. And that could be one of the things keeping you stuck right now, is maybe there's some sort of wound connected to your father that you need to gain new perspective on or reflect on. Connections, counterpart connections are meant to trigger unhealed parts of ourselves. So there could be a wound that maybe you don't even realize you have, or for a lot of you, I feel like you're aware of what this wound is and you're working on healing it, because the Eight of Swords can also, I said Eight of Swords can be trauma that keeps us stuck, but that can be healed. And maybe you're having, maybe you are working on this wounding when it comes to your father wound. I feel like this person could be mirroring whatever this father wound is, or they could have behaved like your father figure or parental figure, triggering that wound. And then we have crown chakra, consciousness, higher self, divine connection. So you definitely feel like this is a divine connection. There is a need to listen to your higher self right now with this crown chakra. You could even be getting downloads about this person. Maybe intuitively, this person is going to be reaching out. So that's why you keep instinctively checking your phone, but then the communication doesn't come. You could also be going through a crown chakra awakening. And I actually just want to grab this book for a minute and look at the crown chakra. Crown chakra, I know. So you could have an inner knowing that you will hear from them again, but right now you're not. You could have an inner knowing that they are triggering a fatherhood wound. You could also be struggling to trust your intuition here. So I'm just going to read this to you. This chakra is the center of your link with the universe, the infinite, and your higher consciousness. So there could be like a father wound blocking your connection with your higher consciousness or higher self. It also could be that you need to elevate into that higher self energy and open that crown chakra before this communication will come in. It's the connection between wisdom and spiritual insight. So you may be having a hard time trusting your spiritual insight right now. And to enhance this chakra, sit quietly and visualize a lotus bud on the top of your head. As the bud blossoms, see a shower of whitish, violet, sparkling light shining down from the universe onto the lotus, filling and nourishing it. When complete, simply let the vision fade. Expanding this chakra opens you to receiving the ultimate bliss, divine love. Take comfort in knowing that you are cherished. And when I think about a lotus flower has to grow through darkness and mud into the light before it blooms. So this could be your darkness and mud era is what I'm hearing. Like you could feel like you're in the mud, or that you feel very stuck in the mud right now. But it's leading to this awakening. It's leading to you becoming your higher self. So I think it would be a good idea for you to reflect on whatever parental or father wounds all of this is triggering within you, especially if, there could be fear of abandonment being triggered here as well. Like if you feel like this person abandoned you. We have Archangel Michael. So right now you are being protected. So if this communication isn't coming in, or if you sent a message and they didn't respond, or you tried to, I just heard convince them of your worth and they didn't see your worth. I feel like you're being protected. Rejection is divine protection. And Archangel Michael is protecting you here. So I'm even hearing the term no news is good news. So you could be stressed out because you're not hearing from this person, but it could be because they are transforming or they are going through an ascension themselves. There also could be a little bit of divine intervention happening in your life right now. So if you feel like you're stuck in the mud, or you feel, like things are being removed from your life right now, it's for a reason. Divine intervention. You could be being divinely guided here also to work on those father wounds. And then we have telepathy. So it feels like you are feeling like a heightened telepath, like you could be experiencing telepathic communication with your person. You could also, one thing I hear is that sometimes divine feminines will talk about not being able to have that telepathic communication with their counterparts. So this communication could also be linked to telepathic communication. And maybe you're not feeling their energy as strongly. And maybe that's for a higher reason with Archangel Michael here. All right, so let's look at your person. Your person has the clouds for their energy. So this is an energy of confusion, I'm going to read the card to you. It's coming out as, this is fire, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But what I find really interesting is you have the birds with 3 birds on it. And here we have this person blowing away these 3 birds. So, you know, this person could have ghosted you or blew you off, or, you know, maybe they've blocked communication or just never responded. I already said it all for your card, but you're kind of seeing these three birds here. It's almost like there's illusions stopping this person from communicating with you, or confusion. Like maybe they're confused on how to communicate with you. Maybe they don't know what to say, especially if you reached out to them. I'm seeing that channeled message. I don't know what to say, so I don't respond. I also feel like this person could have been pushing this connection away. I did see the runner card. It didn't come out, but it flipped out and flipped back in when I was shuffling their cards. And the fact that this is number 6, which is lover's energy, this person could be, you know, pushing this connection away, or in the past they were pushing it away. There could also be some sort of wound that they need to heal, because these three birds remind me of the Three of Swords. So it could be that you both have wounds that you need to heal before these clouds will clear. It also feels a little divinely guided in this card, because to me this kind of looks like a god, or I don't know why I'm seeing, oh my gosh, I should know this, but in the movie Hercules, the animation, of course, is his father Zeus? I really don't know. But there could be an element of divine protection here as well. Like maybe this person is feeling the pull to reach out to you, but spirit, the universe, is stopping it. Or it could be that Archangel Michael is creating a lot of confusion in their life to try and wake them up. I'm also feeling very called to this, you know, there's this pattern on all of the cards, this like these squiggly lines. Yours are orange. So that could be an indication that you need to work on your sacral chakra. Theirs are red, which could be an indication that they need to work on their root chakra. But what I was hearing was the red string. So I feel like you are pulling on this person's energy, or it's that red thread bond is what I'm hearing. Interesting. So I'm going to read the clouds to you, but it feels like there's a lot of confusion in their energy. And I believe this came out for the Taurus reading in the same position. So that could be symbolic. Clouds, unstable, unclear state. So it feels like at once maybe this person, you know, saw a connection here, or they could have been, maybe their life was going really well, but all of a sudden it's taken a shift. And what I find interesting is counterparts, when they're together, the divine masculine usually is being protected by the divine feminine's energy, because you share a crown chakra. Oh, it's making sense. You have the crown card. So in this deck, there's an example of this. Let me just find it. So when you are together, you have like a veil of protection on your crown, coming from your crown chakra. I might be explaining this a little weirdly, but I'm just going to keep going. Where are you? There you are. Because now I'm noticing you have the crown chakra. So that's the crown chakra. So when you're in the same frequency, or you're together, this protection that you have, they're protected too. But if they wrong you, if they push the connection away, if they mistreat you, call it karma. But once there's a divide, that protection that they had, they're no longer being protected. And it's it's so that the towers start happening. So this protection from the crown chakra could be over you right now, and maybe it was removed from them, and towers that were supposed to happen when they were with you or talking to you are now all of a sudden happening. I'm definitely getting an element of divine protection or divine intervention. It's like your divine protection, theirs is divine intervention. And I just heard I'm gonna F shit up. So it feels like there's kind of like a tornado or a shakeup happening in their energy. And if you and this person were in contact or together and you both have healing to do, that's what happens in separation. And that's where like a wall of protection comes up and you're separated to do the healing work. Most of the healing is done in separation. So if you still have healing you're working on, they still have healing they're working on, that happens in separation. And a lot of people like to think, well, we can do it together. And yes, at some point you can come back together, align, and continue healing together. But the bulk of it happens in separation. Anyway, I got distracted. 6. This person could also, like, they could be feeling quite moody. There's a change in their well-being, state of affairs. There's a high risk of catching a cold or losing your cool. So this person could be feeling quite triggered. Maybe if they know they trigger easily, maybe that's another reason they're not responding. Confusion, uncertainty, and doubt. So you both kind of have this uncertain energy or this doubt in your energy. And it's a sense of solid ground beneath our feet kind of being ripped out from underneath us. So this person doesn't feel like they have solid footing right now. Things feel quite chaotic. And this card also talks about needing to modify our behavior. So there's something about this person's behavior that they need to work on and heal before they're going to be able to communicate with you, is what I'm hearing. So if you're dealing with someone like who is highly reactive, for example, or will hurt you with their words, that could be a reason you're being protected from this communication right now. We have illusions, vision uncleared, which makes sense with all the clouds. So they're having a really hard time right now. And I'm not here to feel sorry for them or anything or make excuses. But there is this cloudiness in their energy where they can't really see the way forward. Things feel, there's also with, that was on 18, which is moon energy. So there's an uncertainty about the future of this connection. They could still be under some sort of illusion as well. Like, let's say, for example, this person hurts you with their words. There's an energy with the clouds that talks about needing to modify their behavior. So they could have a behavior that they keep behaving. They could have a behavior that they keep exhibiting, and maybe it's something that you've even told them about, but until someone's ready to be honest with themselves, they're not going to see that. And I'm talking about like self-awareness. So if this person is convinced they don't have anything to work on, or they're not hurtful with their words, they're under an illusion. They're under the illusion that there's nothing wrong with their words. So they may be having a hard time seeing or deciphering what the behavior that they need to change and heal is, or what wounding it is that they need to work on, even though maybe you tried to tell them. That's kind of a download I got. But there's a lot of, like I said, I feel like your person's having a hard time thinking straight. They have a hard time knowing what to do in this situation, what to say. We have reflecting, owning bad habits. That's interesting because I was just talking about, by the time I flip over these cards, I've completely forgotten what they are, by the way. So owning bad habits, a behavior that needs to change. And that's what I mean. They're reflecting on their own bad habits right now. But for some of them, they could have been under the illusion that there were no bad habits or that there was nothing wrong with them. Even if it doesn't have to do with hurtful communication, that was just an example. You can use like alcoholism as an example. An addict won't, you can't tell an addict they're an addict. You can't convince an addict to get sober. They need to come to that realization themselves. They need to make the choice. So it feels like this person is starting to reflect and own some of these illusions that they were under about themselves, maybe even about this connection. And it's interesting because the illusions and the reflecting is very much moon energy, and then the clouds was on 18, which is moon energy. So I feel like they're reflecting about their shadows. I've completely forgotten what else is coming out. We have action, rapid forward movement. So this person is feeling unclear and confused on how to take action towards you, how to move forward in this connection right now. This is also a bit of divine masculine energy with the cheetah. Brown eyes could be symbolic. And you know what? Once this person reflects and starts owning these illusions and modifying their behavior, changing their bad habits, there's going to be rapid change and rapid growth. And one of the things I talk about is about how different the journey of the divine feminine is to the divine masculine. So the divine feminine, and I'm not talking about gender, usually is the first to awaken. This connection kind of triggers the divine feminine's awakening. And what happens is when you come together, the heart chakra is activated. I'm not sure at what point it changes, like the chakras change with separation. But what happens for the feminine is the first chakra to awaken is the heart, followed by the throat, needing to speak their truth, followed by the third eye chakra, followed by the crown chakra, and then it goes down here to the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. And their awakening takes a while. I feel like there's like this part of this area awakens when you first get together, and then during separation, it's when this awakens. But like I said, for some, I think the throat awakens in separation, so don't quote me on that. It's a little fuzzy. But with the the feminine's takes longer. So it's like a slow burn awakening and ascension. It happens over a long time, slow burn. Whereas the masculine kind of doesn't awaken until they do. And then once they wake up, it's like their eyes are wide open and they go through an accelerated ascension, and it starts from the root. So they awaken from here up, and it happens much more quickly, accelerated ascension, whereas the feminine is a slow burn. And one of the examples that I've heard used is, imagine you're going down Whitewater Rapids and you are in an inner tube and you've got your counterpart attached to another inner tube. Actually, you know what? I'll use the swans as my inner tubes. So this is the divine feminine and this is the divine masculine. I could just put them like this because that's how aware they are when you hit the rapids. So there's like an energetic, imagine two inner tubes and you're tied together. You hit the rapids and your eyes open and you're awake and you're experiencing like the fear and rushing down the rapids, trying to fight against the currents, seeing the obstacles, the rocks in your way, scary as hell. Meanwhile, your counterpart is back here in their inner tube asleep. And that's what they mean by the divine feminine leads the way, is that you're going down this journey and they're asleep. They're not awake yet. They don't understand it. But once they wake up, like your journey, your eyes are open and you're experiencing everything. Slow burn. But once they wake up, it's an accelerated ascension, which again, once they wake up, once they start doing the shadow work and awakening, there's like this Eight of Wands energy, rapid change and rapid growth. So, you know, some people fear like, well, it took me 3 years to step into my higher self. What does that mean for them if they haven't awakened? It doesn't mean they'll take that long. Yes, it'll happen after you. Yes, there will be a delay, but theirs will be faster. So there is forward movement here, even though you can't see it. And the birds talked about this waiting for communication is temporary. And the best thing you can do for yourself is to not wait for it, to do something else. And that's why I give the example of like watching a pot of water boil. If you watch a pot of water boil, it's going to take forever. But if you take your eyes off of it and go do other things, all of a sudden, to your surprise, you walk back into the kitchen and that pot is boiling. You know, and it feels like it just happened like that because you've been... Does anybody else snap their fingers weird? I'll get back to that in a minute. Because you've been doing other things, you know? You've been busy doing other things, so you kind of forget how long it's taking for that pot of water to boil. There we go. I snap my fingers with my pinky, which people always told me that was weird. But anyway, that's how I snap them. Anybody else? Pinky gang? I just heard pinky in the brain. So we do have mother wounds here. So it feels like you triggered their mother wounds, they triggered your father wounds. Or it could be vice versa. So, and I'm hearing the song, oh, what's it called? It's by Scotty Hellman. Oh, what's it called? It's escaping me. I know one of you knows what I'm talking about. I can hear it in my head. I'm getting a download of it. So I was trying to hear what it's called. Scotty Hellman. And like the chorus is, please, can we try something new? And one of the lines in that song is, and again, don't quote me on this, but it's something like, there's definitely mother wounds that need to be released. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, definitely. There's mother wounds that need to be released. Something about you're just as something as your mother. I'm as angry as my dad or something. So he makes a remark about their parental wound, and then he makes a remark about his parental wound. And he talks about we're just drowning in our parents' history. It's not really about you and it's not really about me. We're just drowning in our parents' history. So I definitely feel like, and take it as it resonates, I'm going to say father and mother here, but it could be swapped for you. But I feel like maybe however you were showing up triggered or reminded them of how their mother treated them, even if you weren't doing that, okay? Like even if you weren't, I'll give a perfect example. Let's say they had a highly critical mother. I'm not saying you were highly critical, but maybe when you told them how you felt about something, they took it as criticism because their mother was highly critical, and then they were triggered by that wound surrounding their mother. Make sense? So I feel like you triggered a mother wound within them and they triggered a father wound within you or something like that. And it feels like that's what needs to be released here. And I feel like this person, like a lot of people don't understand that these wounds come from our parents. And that's not about blaming our parents or shaming them or making them feel bad. Although that's what I used to do when I was, anyway. Now I know that they have wounds because their parents wounded them. Like it's ancestral baggage and trauma. But like maybe this person was under the illusion that they didn't have any wounds or they didn't make the connection to a mother wound, right? Like some people who aren't on the healing journey don't understand that. So they could have been under the illusion that they didn't have any wounds, or they could have been under the illusion that you were just critical when really you were triggering something that their mother did to them, okay? And again, I'm not saying you're critical. I'm using it as an example. Insert, whatever you triggered them with. All right, let's keep going. We have dreams. So there is a telepathic bond happening here. You have the telepathy card and they have dreams. So maybe during the day you don't feel the telepathic bond, or maybe you've been trying to send them telepathic messages. If you're not feeling the telepathic bond right now, it could be because it's happening in your dreams and maybe you're not remembering your dreams. I'm not saying that you're not having telepathic communication or dreams, but for those of you who aren't, that's why I'm saying it. But there's definitely like telepathic communication happening in dreams. So if you feel like you can't get them during the day, it's because it's happening at night while you're sleeping. I also feel like this person could be having dreams around these wounds. And that's something that I've experienced where I actually have dreams, and when I look up what they mean, it's very significant to some of my wounds, some of my childhood wounds. One of them that I have is that, and I haven't had it in a while, is I'm like screaming and trying to ask for help and nobody can hear me. And I used to have this dream all the time, like for years and years and years and years. It's like I would open my mouth and no matter how hard I tried, to yell, no noise would come out. And then when I was in therapy, my therapist told me that it was very symbolic of feeling unseen and unheard as a child and not being able to speak my truth or, stand up for myself. Anyway, so you do have dreams about wounds like that, or like maybe this person is having repetitive dreams about this wound, or even with you. They could be dreaming about things that happened in the past where they were under the illusion there was nothing that they needed to change. Maybe they're having dreams about that situation and they're waking up like, oh, I'm kind of seeing the error of my ways, owning their bad habits. They could also just be having, frolicking in sunflower dreams with you where you're together and happy and they wake up feeling your energy. And we have mirroring. So whatever you're going through, they're mirroring. And I can see that, like your energy is very similar. And it's almost like there is this telepathic bond where you feel like your hands are tied. You're waiting for them to reach out to you. On the other side, they're wanting to reach out to you, but they feel stuck. They don't know what to say. You're healing or needing to heal father wounds. They're needing to or healing mother wounds, right? All right, let's look at the outcome. If I remember correctly, your outcome is interesting. We have the child, air energy, and it's also Scorpio energy, 13. So there is like a transformation and a rebirth happening here. And this child card talks about whatever comes in the future in this connection, handle it delicately like you would a newborn, right? You wouldn't, like imagine you have a newborn baby or a puppy. You wouldn't expect that newborn to know how to make its own food or bathe itself or use the toilet or anything like that. You have to handle a newborn carefully and delicately. Treat it as something new, right? Same as a puppy. You wouldn't expect, unless you got it trained, you wouldn't expect your puppy just to magically know it can't chew things, it can't pee all over the floor, it needs to go outside. You nurture that puppy. And this card is talking about needing to nurture whatever comes in the future. So it could be that, you know, oftentimes through separation, you both change and evolve. And then when you come back together, it's like getting to know each other again. So there's kind of this message of treat it very delicately, like a newborn or a puppy or a child. That doesn't mean like putting up with bad behavior or sweeping things under the carpet or anything like that. But just know if they were triggering your father wounds and you were triggering their mother wounds, there is the potential that in the future those wounds could be triggered again, because healing is a lifelong journey. And even though I know about my wounds and I've worked, I'm working very hard to heal them, if you catch me on a bad day, I could still be triggered with a father wound, right? It can still bubble up as you work through healing it. Just like a cut on your hand develops a scab and you think it's almost healed, and then you scratch it the wrong way and, oh, there's a little bit of blood there, you know? Whoops, I didn't mean to pull those out together. We have clearing, purging negativity, and yearning, missing your energy. So we do have this energy of negativity being purged and released from both of your energies, and then missing each other, yearning for each other, feeling the pull back on each other's energy. And again, I forgot what cards were here, but remember when I was talking about, I feel like something needs to be released. And I talk about, I know, I'm getting the magnets, you already know. But what happens is you come together like this, like magnets in the beginning, and then those wounds start getting triggered. And the trauma gets starting, the cycles start and the arguments start. And what happens is you both start repelling each other because you can't evolve and rise into your higher selves and grow together. So divine protection, you kind of start repelling each other's vibration. So it doesn't matter what you say or how hard you try, you can't come together. Some people get stuck in a cycle of trying. But what's needed is that separation. It needs time to cook in the oven is what I'm hearing. And then what happens is as you move apart and change and grow and evolve, the energy shifts and you start yearning for each other again once those things are cleared out, which is what I was talking about, where I was saying something needs to be released here before you start pulling each other back together. And you could have had chaser energy here where you tried to do everything you could with communication. Like I said, once the chaser turns their energy around and they don't watch that pot, they stop waiting and they keep moving forward, keep growing, keep evolving, keep healing. What happens, this says missing your energy. So what happens is the runner starts stepping into their masculine energy, which causes them to want to take action, and they start missing you and feeling a pull on your energy. And then all of a sudden you change your energy and they start feeling a pull, and then all of a sudden there's that magnetic attraction again. And we have harmony, in sync, just like this, right? So there's, in the future, it needs to be handled delicately. There's a transformation and a rebirth. There's things that are cleared. The energy shifts where you align on the same frequency. They start longing for you, where in the past you were probably longing for them. Maybe you're longing for them right now. The roles reverse. And now we have harmony, in sync. So we have the two of you coming back together here. We have surprise call. This came out for Taurus, I think, as well. I could be wrong. So like this person was just minding their own business, drinking their coffee, and out of nowhere, ring, ring. So there is a surprise communication here in the future after something is released, and a reminder to handle it carefully. Because those wounds, even though they're healing, they could still be maybe the scar tissue is thin. You get what I'm trying to say, right? We have, oh, I forgot about this. We have sparkle, glow up, Empress era. So that's the thing here, is that this happens when you are that, when you have that sparkle, when your light is shining, when you're in that Empress energy, you stop the chase, right? Like I was showing you with the magnets. And then once you turn your energy around and start focusing on your own magic, your own sparkle, and you're glowing, the roles reverse. And the feminine leads the way, unfortunately. I didn't make the rules. So that is really interesting. I feel like I should have put, the letter S could be symbolic. I feel like I should have put that in a different order there. The letter H could be symbolic. It feels like this comes first. Like there's clearing, then them missing you, then you coming into harmony, just like you glow up into your Empress era. And that's when there's this surprise communication. We have acceptance. So there's an acceptance. If it's meant for me, it'll come back to me. There's an acceptance of this person needing to change some of their behavior, maybe you needing to change some of your behavior. There's the release of those wounds that I was talking about, right? And there's a transformation, butterflies. And you know, they do say that when you're holding on to something or the idea of something so tightly, you're actually preventing it from coming in. But when you open your hand and accept whatever's meant for you will be, you're opening your hand to receive. And then we had reunion. So I don't feel like, with the child card, I don't think, like I said about the baby, it's not like you have a baby that comes in and knows how to make itself food and use the toilet and sleep through the night. You need to nurture that baby, right? To get them to that point. I don't think that when this person comes in, it's going to be like instant reunion. I feel like you're going to have to handle it carefully. But it can, if you also, when this person comes in, accepting that you can't control what happens and allowing things to unfold naturally will lead to this reunion. So we're just going to get a few tarot cards for each of you. We have judgment, renewal of love, past actions and consequences. So they could be having a wake-up call with the judgment card. We have the Queen of Wands, glow up energy, love it. Step into your power. We have the Ace of Pentacles, steady union. All right, so we're gonna get a few cards for you, a few cards for them, and then the outcome. We have the Hierophant, spiritual love, spiritual ascension, Taurus energy. I kept mentioning Taurus. And we have the Sun, which is divine masculine energy. That's hilarious. And we have the Devil, destructive habit. And they had the Cloud and owning their bad habits. And the Sun shows there needs to be healing before there can be this higher level of commitment. I feel like this is a connection, just like the twin flame connection. It's a soul contract, a spiritual love that's meant to help both of you heal and release that devil energy. All right, so let's see your current energy. Show me Scorpio's current energy. Awakening. So you also have strength. So right now, surrendering, you're meant to be surrendering, just like I said with the Hanged Man energy. You also, it reduced to 8, which is the energy of strength. Taming emotions. So there could be something about learning how to tame your emotions. You know, just for an example, one of my father wounds is like having really explosive emotions. And because, you know, I watched my father do that my whole life. So you could be, that could be one of them, taming emotions or reactions. But anyway, it says taming emotions, which is why I mentioned it. But right now, whatever you're going through is meant to awaken you and to this. It's meant to awaken you to your higher self, to your higher consciousness. This is a divine connection meant to awaken you. So I almost feel like for you, you're here on your journey. Let's keep going. So we have money focus. So you could also be, you could be going through some sort of money problems because the birds talked about that. Or you could just be trying to focus on work instead of focusing on them and waiting for their call. We also have the Two of Wands, waiting, again, waiting. So it feels like you're waiting to hear from this person and maybe even like wanting to make a plan for the future, but you don't know how to plan your future because you want this person to come back and be in union with you. I'm going to tell you that the best thing you can do for yourself is keep living your life, keep planning your future, plan the trip. Don't wait to take the trip because you were hoping you were going to hear from them. Take the trip for you, do it for you. You know, if you were thinking about moving, move for you, do it for you. Anything that you're doing, do it for you. Don't do it on an outcome of union with this person because that causes resistance. But there is an energy of waiting. You could also just be waiting to, you know, you could be going through some financial problems. Maybe you're waiting for finances to come in, an inheritance. You could be waiting for things to improve. So that should be up there, actually. Let's see how you're feeling about this person. So we have long wait, putting your life on hold. Isn't that interesting that I just mentioned that? So you feel like you've been waiting a while, and you could be in some aspects putting your life on hold. And I'm not here to judge you. Everything I channel is something that I've experienced, right? So I'm not here to judge you. We have taming hunger. So you could be trying to tame that chase. You could be trying to tame the urge to reach out to them and say something. Because it says trying to resist temptation. But this is about taming a player. This is how you feel about them. So you could feel like this person is, you know, immature. They could have had other options. They could have made you feel like an option. They could have been hot and cold, inconsistent, player energy. Maybe they're younger than you. And for some of you, it does feel like you've been putting your life on hold for someone who's not ready to like grow up or heal yet. Let's get one more for how you feel about them. It also, we have the Page of Wands on the bottom. So I feel like you are trying, this came out in reverse. So I feel like you are trying to resist communicating with them. Let's get one more for how you feel about them. We have wanting. What a catch for how you feel about them. So you do see them as your person. You could have a fear of losing them, especially if you haven't heard from them in a while. You could have a fear that if you go on living your life, that you'll miss out with them. Just know that that's what's meant for you will align with you. And the best thing you can do is to continue living your life. So you could definitely have a fear of losing them. You could be feeling like you want to control this, you want to conquer this, you want to take this into your own hands. But right now you just kind of got to let the universe do what it's doing. We also have the King of Pentacles on the bottom for how you feel about them. So you do see, you know, the potential of commitment. You take this love very seriously. You could also be being loyal to them in separation, which, let me be clear, you don't have to be. If you're in separation, if you're broken up, if you're in no contact, you do not have to be. But one thing that I hear about so much is that while, and this won't be for everybody, some feminines explore other connections and go on to date. I think it's more typical with divine masculines that they get, I shouldn't even say that, but divine masculines sometimes, you know, when they're running or if they are a player, they go on to date or have connections with others during separation. But there are so many feminines out there who remain celibate during separation. And that doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you pathetic. Like, I've seen some comments in other tarot readers' comment sections about like, you haven't been with anyone else in 3 years. You are pathetic. Get back out there. It's really hard when you have a soul connection. That's why a lot of divine feminines end up being celibate through this separation. And again, you don't have to be. I'm not saying you have to be, or that you shouldn't be, or that you should be. I am not shaming at all. You do whatever's right for you. But you could be very loyal to this person. All right, let's see how you're feeling about the journey. How are you feeling about the twin flame journey? I just heard I'm over it. High Priestess. That's interesting. Some of you don't want to tell me. Some of you don't want me to know with the High Priestess. That's really interesting. So for some of you, you're feeling like it's heightened your intuition. You could feel like you have a mission as a light worker. You could feel like, you know, you are a divine feminine with the High Priestess. It also says look beyond what you can see. So for how you're feeling about the journey, you could be trying to trust your intuition, trying to trust your higher self, trying to look beyond what you can see. For some of you, the High Priestess is silent and guarded. So for some of you, you don't want me to know how you're feeling about the journey, which is fine. I'm hearing Frodo, you can keep your secrets. And we have the Ace of Wands. So you did feel an instant spark with this person. You could feel like this person, you felt a lot of potential in this journey. It could have sparked your intuition, sparked your awakening. But I feel like you want stability as well. Let's see your person's energy. Ooh. We have world energy. So right now your person is going through completion. So the things that are being removed from their energy being removed for a reason. Actually, that came out crossing, so I'm going to take it in crossing. We have Six of Swords, better times ahead. And that's great because sometimes the Six of Swords can show, it can depict someone in a boat with a child. And although it's not the Six of Cups, it can be symbolic of, you know, it can be symbolic of leaving your past behind you, like these mother wounds. Like imagine your person kind of putting their inner child in the boat with them and moving forward. Six of Swords, this person is having a hard time moving on from you. They're moving into calmer waters though. And remember the clouds blowing, the clouds. The clouds card also talks about how it's temporary, that the clouds will dissipate. There will be sun. So it almost feels like your person is being blown into calmer waters. I just need to see hiding feelings, feeling insecure, fear of vulnerability. I just want to see the world in reverse, but I feel like this person, so right now they're still half wearing a mask here. They're still hiding their true feelings. Unsure of how to come towards you, fear of being vulnerable with you, feeling insecure when it comes to taking action towards you. I think the world in reverse is feeling unfulfilled, which makes sense. I even picked up the book in reverse. Taking partner for granted, maybe. The world in reverse, lack of closure, feeling incomplete, emptiness. So they haven't moved on from you. Their life isn't fitting together in a meaningful way. They're missing you. They know they took you for granted. A little bit resistant to change. So there could be something, the illusions and the healing, they could be resisting some of these wounds they need to heal. But they're starting to be pushed into calmer waters. Let's see how they're feeling about you. How are they feeling about you? I also had something odd happen with this reading. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. So this person has something weighing heavily on them when it comes to you. And there's this energy of wanting to come in out of the darkness, wanting to stop running. The end of games. They don't want to play games with you. But what happened was I was originally going to do this reading yesterday. Actually, I was originally going to do it the day before yesterday. And then I procrastinated on it. And then yesterday, I procrastinated again. And I think it's very symbolic of your person procrastinating coming towards you or procrastinating change. So for how they feel about you, cold as ice. So they feel like you're the Queen of Swords right now, like that you'd be cold with them. They're apprehensive about approaching you. And with good reason, because they know they were inconsiderate with you and they gave you mixed signals. So now they're apprehensive about approaching you because they know there was something in their behavior that was wrong. So now they're feeling nervous about approaching you. The King of Wands shows you, I do feel like you tried to take charge of this situation, but, you know, they were giving you mixed signals and all that kind of stuff. The King of Wands shows that this person has a lot of passion for you, wants to take bold action towards you, but is very apprehensive about coming towards you. And they could have burned you in some way, because I'm noticing if they burned you, they feel remorse over that. I'm going to get one more for how they feel about you. How do they feel about you? We have the Ten of Swords. So there could have been, they could have really, I just said they could have burned you. They feel a lot of pain about this ending. They could have betrayed you. With the Seven of Swords, they definitely could have betrayed you. You would know about that. There was a painful ending here. And we also have divine timing. Patience is needed. Let's see how they're feeling about your journey together, even though I don't know if they know what the journey is yet. How are they feeling about the journey? How are they feeling about the journey? We have the Chariot, so they do want to, they do want to come towards you. They do want to align with you, possibly even travel with you, coming out victorious. So they want victory with you here. What's interesting is we also have this, which it says karmic partner. So for some of you, they could have betrayed you with a karmic. I did have that thing about how you could be loyal to this person in separation and no contact, but maybe they have a karmic. You would know about that. But a karmic partner, twin flames are actually also a karmic because they teach you karmic lessons. There's so many labels out there, right? So in a sense, a twin flame is a karmic partner. It's a form of a karmic contract. But look at this for how they feel about this connection. Your dark side exposed. So they feel like you exposed their shadows, like you triggered their shadows. And you could have even said that to them. Oh my gosh, we have the Lovers. I didn't see it because it was flipped over. So this person, for how they feel about this connection, twin flame connection. So I can guarantee you they've never felt anything like this. There could be a need to make a choice to release a karmic partner for some of you. You would know about that. Gemini, Cancer, Pisces, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio. Sorry, I forgot to mention signs. All right, let's see the future outcome. What is the outcome? That's Justice. We've got Strength, okay? Taming emotions, overcoming obstacles, beautiful. On the floor, we have Justice, which is Libra energy. We have Leo and Libra. The letter L could be symbolic. August 11th or November 8th could be symbolic. July 6th, June 7th. February could be symbolic, but anyway. Future outcome, we have Justice, soul contract, balance being restored. So we have truth, accountability, honesty, and apology. Someone having the strength and confidence to come towards you. Taming emotions, so maybe that's something that's being released here. Overcoming obstacles. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups. Strong connection, mutual attraction, reunion. And the Two of Cups talks about engaging in an honest and heartfelt conversation. It talks about unity, reunion, clearing up miscommunications. All right, let's get a few channeled messages. May could be a symbolic month for you. I keep looking. May could be a symbolic month for you. I am trying to figure out how energy works. I am working on manifesting my own reality. When I was talking about energy this whole time. Maybe they should watch this reading. All right. You could be meant to be a power couple. I'm tired of fighting this connection. The chemistry between us is unreal, and I'm a moth to a flame when it comes to you. All right, so I'm going to take that. That is how they're feeling with the Seven of Swords in reverse. They're tired of fighting this connection. It's right there with the Seven of Swords in reverse and the Lovers. What does this person want to say to you? What does this person want to say? One more. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Everyone wants you, and I fear that you will find someone better than me before I am ready to be the person you deserve. Divine timing is at play. We need to wait for union. Time to heal and evolve. Yep. I'm going to save that for the cover. Actually, I'm going to take this one. And I'm going to take this one. Yeah, that one. I feel safer hiding and watching you from a distance. That way you are not close enough to hurt me. I have abandonment issues and have been let down by every single person I've allowed to get close to me, including possibly their mother. I know I don't tell you enough, but I think you are absolutely amazing inside and out. I am learning many spiritual lessons because of you. This journey has been a roller coaster. Isn't it though? We are meant to be a power couple. I said I saw that card, and show others how love can truly conquer all. No one has ever made me want to change my behavior until I met you. I read your messages, but I am unsure of how to respond. I said I saw that card when I saw the clouds blowing away the 3 birds. During this time apart, I have done a lot of self-reflecting and recognize how deep our connection is. Oh, and I already said that one. I'm trying to figure out how energy works. So, I'm actually going to take this card for the cover. All right. So Scorpio, I'm going to leave it here. I am sending you lots of love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.